Nana, 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 nana.
Na 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 na. Second version. No bullshit. No bullshit.
Let's just breaking this. Dub or bullshit. Dub or bullshit.
No bullshit.
Na 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 na. No bullshit.
No bullshit.
All right. Well, welcome to this edition of the No BS News Hour. It's January 12th, 2020. What's up, Bob?
Not too much, Karen. How are you?
Fine. We are missing a key component of the show. What's No BS without the Charlie LeDuff? Where's Charlie? Where the hell is Charlie? Does anybody know where Charlie is?
I don't know where Charlie's at.
Charlie? What the hell? I found him. I think I shot him. Hey, that's what would happen when strange men hop up behind me, Charlie.
All right.
Yeah, don't call 911. I did not shoot Charlie.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Hey, Charlie.
Oh, no.
Don't do that.
Mannequin move here.
We warned you.
You guys have no idea what's going on in this studio. It's all good. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Karen. What's up, Bob?
Hey,
Are
Charlie.
you
how
okay?
You
I did not
you really
shoot
hurt
Charlie.
your knee?
I've heard it a while ago, but no, I didn't really hurt it. I'm just acting.
Okay.
Because, you know, I was a Michigan football cheerleader, right? And a bunch of us, after we graduated, we were all going out to L.A. to become stuntmen. That was our plan. Like, we're going to graduate, and we're going to go to L.A., and we're going to break into the pictures and do cool shit. And I'm the only one that went. And the other two guys are in finance, and they're rich now, and I never got into the pictures.
And you're down here on the
Stuck
lower
in the,
level
in the
with
lower
us.
level.
Right.
But on today's show, we're going to have Hollywood's biggest stuntman, right? He's been in everything.
Cool.
Johnny 100 times, Johnny Cenatiempo from Harlem, New York City. Going to talk to us about...
Charlie, you're getting old. You're breathing.
Can
Get your
you
breath,
fall down
man.
a flight of fucking stairs?
No, thank you.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to have Johnny on because, you know, in the wake of Ricky Gervais, I know Hollywood, but I know working guy Hollywood, regular Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so Johnny's the guy. He's the Hollywood stuntman. Nice.
Nice.
That was my contact. That was me getting hit with a bottle over the head. Mannequin, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Breaking shit.
That was real. No BS.
Yeah, right.
We're also going to have retired Marine Corps Major Dan McSweeney, who was the, Chief Communications Officer for the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit, talk about the goings-on in Iran, in Iraq, in the Middle East. Dan's a smart guy. I really trust him.
Insider stuff.
I trusted him with my life. I mean, he's not a Pentagon expert, but that was boots on the ground, this guy. So
That perspective matters.
That's an expert.
Yep.
yeah, and he was, most recently, he was the president of the United War Veterans Council. So to me, what he has to say matters, and you should all maybe hear that. You know, I don't agree with everything he says, but that's the whole point of the program is we respect each other. Mannequin, what the
I
fuck
know.
are
Are
you
you okay?
doing?
You got him all shaken. It was the gunshot. It just threw him off.
You know, here, let me do this real quick. But, before that, there's just a couple of local things I want to, address. Look at me, I lost all my stuff.
What is with you guys today?
Who, me?
Kind of everybody's a little off.
They've always been a little off.
I just came down a flight of stairs. Well, listen, the Facebook Live. Oh, and you're all asking, like, why does Facebook Live dive out in the middle of the show? Because that encourages you on Sunday to go to iTunes or Google Play or
Wherever you get your
NoBSNewsHour.com and download the show.
But they want to see you, Charlie. I mean, I went and literally read through the comments, and everybody's like, hey, Charlie, they enjoy watching you. So,
Yeah, but, download it.
still download.
So we can, bring that to our sponsors, which includes ADR, right? Bottom line, that's how success is measured. The bottom line, whether it's government or private industry, you're measured by results. Get the job done right, on time, on budget. ADR Consultants at 248-318-9424. Don't wait for after-the-fact accounting. Get yourself some experienced advice before the project begins. ADR overseeing more than $250 million in private and public construction projects since 2001. ADR competent. Reduce your costs, increase your bottom line. ADR Consultants are experts in procurement, government compliance, information technology, and property management. Go with ADR for your company, municipality, or law enforcement agency. Honest, ethical, smart. Call Barry Ellentuck, 248-318-9424 for a consultation. ADR. Notice I rewrote that?
I know.
That was nice.
I rewrote them all.
Right.
It's good, because you don't always the same thing every week. So,
I don't see you fucking rewriting them.
well, give it to me, and I will. And I'll read it, too.
Oh, will you?
Yes, I will.
Which brings me to, before we have, Johnny 100 times, Karen, you are all over the place.
What did I do?
This copycat media. Like, I think they're trying to steal the princess from us, Bob.
Oh, no. Don't let them do that.
She's on Fox News all the time, Fox 2 News, right on the Let It Rip panel.
Regular.
Right? She's on NPR roundtables. She's in the Free Press giving expert advice on what's happening in the city of Detroit. And yet,
They just run out of people to ask. So it's like, hey, let's go get Karen.
yeah, but
Well, no, they're calling you because you're an expert. That's why.
I think, Karen's been known around this town for a long time, but just the breadth of her knowledge and intellect on the No Bullshit News Hour, and yet no mention, Karen, of co-host of the No Bullshit News Hour. What's up with
Because
that?
everybody's afraid of you, Charlie.
What do you mean they're afraid?
I think people feel like that they are promoting you. I don't know what it is, but I've asked several times, like, look, I'm on the No BS News Hour with Charlie LeDuff. I'm like, yeah, okay. Go, I was on
And
ABJ,
yet they're
same
poaching.
thing, so.
And yet they poach.
And yet they're poaching,
And yet you poach.
But you know what, though, Charlie? That doesn't matter. This is authentic. I am here. This is real. We are who we are, and everybody knows. You can't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I do a podcast. You do a podcast. I write for a website. You write for a website. Come on, everybody. Come on. Stop it.
We can
your own
do
things.
better. Yeah.
Give her the props.
All right, Karen. Like the next time I see that, there's absolutely nothing I can do. I call in and bitch, but there's nothing I can do.
I
How about a
tried,
little
Charlie.
mention?
Right.
It's happened a couple times. I mean, they have mentioned a couple times, but I just think that they've got to get used to it. I don't know. So I've mentioned, hey, make sure you do this.
They should do it.
But you know what?
It's something you're doing.
It's in my Twitter bio. People know. I mean, so it's fine. We don't have to sweat that. Everybody knows you're the man.
Well, thanks for that. That's what I was going for. Now that that's established. No, because look, here. It's really difficult. Because I do see this, and it's a vast minority of people say on social media, like LeDuff's got nothing good to say. He's always complaining. He's bitching, right? Say we talk about this week about the police. And while we were broadcasting last week, the chief of police is holding his yearly press conference about the crime numbers, and they're fucking cockamamie. But when I pointed out that they're cockamamie, being the only one pointing it out that they're cockamamie puts me in a position where it looks like I don't want to accept good news. I don't want to give credit where credit is due on the so-called comeback, but I don't see it.
But Charlie, let's be perfectly honest. You've done your homework, and in all honesty, what you've come up with is accurate. Now, for me, I do think that the chief is doing what he can do with the resources that he has. And you've got to understand that as an appointee, you are obligated to support the overall narrative. And I look to the mayor in terms of making sure that this city, through the chief, has the resources to make this city safe and not just looking to create
You're right.
The words.
Okay, you're right. And look,
I do.
We had the assistant chief of police on here last year about these numbers.
Right.
And they were cockamamie, and he got all flummoxed. Right? He did. You remember.
He did.
I do.
Yeah.
Right? I said the very same thing to him. I know you're doing the best you can do. I know you don't have shit.
They got to support the narrative, Charlie.
But the narrative,
which is driven by your mayor.
The real deal is that it's a nightmare. Here's the thing. Stop lying. Tell us the truth. How about this? Okay. Tell us the truth so we can help you.
That's not how it is, because we are in the midst.
And it doesn't do the people any good.
It does not. But in my opinion,
the narrative's a lie.
Exactly. But people keep saying, "Oh, everything's coming back from Detroit." I said, "This is the biggest change of anything is the perception of the city, and you change the perception by changing the conversation. And so when you control the narrative, everything is fine. The water is green. I mean, the water is green. The grass is green. The water is clear. Everything's fine. And so you have to be consistent with that. And everybody that's
consistent bullshit.
Not you, well, but I'm saying everybody on your team has to buy into that narrative.
Let me explain.
Okay.
What was happening when we were broadcasting last week? He's given a press conference, and the basics are this. Murder went up from 2018. Shootings went up from 2018. Something called justifiable homicide, meaning you shot me on the stairs because I broke in.
And you scared me.
Right, and I scared you. It's justifiable. I broke into your house. That went up, meaning criminals feel emboldened and just run around, and it's up to the citizen to protect herself, which I have no problem with. You come in my house, I'm dropping you too. But the fact that criminals are emboldened because there's not a big police presence, right? Mm-hmm. We're asked to look back to 1967. That's what we were asked to do. Like, we haven't had fewer than 300 homicides since 1967. You know, only 3 times. Like 3 times in the last 5 years, and 1967. Of course, in 1967, Detroit had 1 million more people. Why are we looking at 1967? Gas was 33 cents. Muhammad Ali was stripped of his title because he wouldn't go into the U.S. Army. Evel Knievel, greatest stuntman ever, failed in his attempt to jump Caesar's palace. Broke 40 bones. Hey, Bob, play that. Yeah. Guys, remember this? Watch this. Oh, he almost made it. He landed it.
Oh.
Look at it. Oh, look.
But he went over head over
He looked like a mannequin, Joey. Oh, face plant. The bike's still up. Look at that. That's a fucking Triumph.
Yeah.
That's not a dirt bike, man. That's a heavy street bike.
Wow, look at that.
He broke how many bones?
40?
40 bones.
His son ended up actually making it in 1989, which I say is maybe a better time for Jimmy, the chief of police, to ask us to look back on with the sock puppet theater, because in 1989, right, Robbie Knievel actually made it. And in 1989, Detroit's homicide rate per 100,000 people was about 57 per. In the year 2000, it was about 39 per 100,000. In the year 2010, when we had like 4 chiefs of police,
right,
it was 43 per 100,000. Today, with all the bankruptcy and the narrative carrying and all this, it's 41. So in the last 20 years, murder has done nothing. It has not moved. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be that guy. I can't be anything else. For you that come down for the Christmas tree lighting, or you who live here.
Well, and like you said, you pointed out, it's important to remember the population's gone down.
Like,
so it really not only has it not gone down, it's going back up. But the population's going, so it's really going up.
It's really going up, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, during that time, that per 100,000, the homicide rate was about 30.
The bigger question, Charlie,
and that was the year of the riots.
Safe.
Everybody felt justified to kill somebody then.
Yeah, but this is a question. Do you feel safe? When you ask people whether they're living here, visiting here, walking down the street, you know, and I think I talked to you about this before, you know, I'm backing up in my driveway at 10 o'clock one night, you know, and I'm looking around, making sure that nobody's in the bushes or whatever. And then I see these 2 young white girls running down the street, and they're just jogging like, it's like everything's fine. So who feels safe? You know, and it depends on
white girls, apparently.
Oh, yeah, and no, we're not being racist, so don't start sending messages saying, why is it all about race? The point is that I see things differently. I live here. I know what this city has been, what it is, and the challenges. I don't only know just what I've been told in the last 4 years. That's the difference.
And the other thing is, those white women that are jogging around, I love them. I don't know who the hell doesn't love a white woman. I mean, who doesn't love white women? Rachel Dolezal, that's the only one. I do. I love them.
Okay,
I love black
entitled.
women. I love children. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I'm kidding.
And if they're not made aware, if they're not aware enough themselves, the point is the narrative. This thing is ridiculous.
Well, they're probably buying into the narrative.
That's what I'm saying. The narrative is enough for them.
Right. And they're like, oh, we're going to go out running.
I know differently. It's 10 o'clock at night. It's dark. And I'm like, they're just
What are you
jogging.
doing?
Like,
Yeah.
hey.
I'm afraid of cars at 10 o'clock at
I'm
night.
afraid of being out in the dark.
And I'm afraid of you with that quick draw.
And you should be.
Shoot
Charlie.
me down them stairs and then Mannequin Joe busting shit.
I said we're licensed. We can do that.
But look, it bothers me.
Justifiable.
Because you all know the work that we did, Bob and I and Matt and I and Fox 2 and Detroit News. And it didn't seem to bother anybody when we were knocking out the chiefs of police for lying about crime, for hiding bodies, right? For sleeping with subordinates, you didn't mind.
Oh, I remember that.
You didn't mind when we're talking about graft, in the county, in the jail. You didn't mind then. What's with it now? Because I think I've earned it, and you can't even look at the current work and pull it apart. It's tight. It's there. I'm doing it for you at a much prorated, very minimal amount of money because I'd rather be telling you the truth than making some money being invited to the chief's birthday party.
Well, but there's no one else doing it. So I think the narrative is starting to win out.
Well, and this is the other thing, too. Everybody hung so much on this administration in the media. They backed it. This is going to be the solution. This is the end all. So you'd have to go back and say, we made a mistake. And that's not going to happen. So we're going to consistently support this narrative to make you believe that Detroit is coming up, everything is fine, the development is there, and we got a few new buildings, but where are the people? This mayor said, judge me on the increase in population. We don't have any. So there are some things, and like Bob said, there's nobody else. They're not challenging it. They can't challenge it. That's the crazy thing.
And again, yes, things are better. Y'all listening? I know. They're like, finally, he said, okay, yeah, things are better. There's development. There's business going on. There is. It looks way better than it did when I got here a decade ago. Oh, my
Charlie,
God. There were trees growing out of the roofs of the buildings downtown.
See,
I know because I profiled them. But what I'm saying is life is long. It's continuous. When you have to look for the foundation.
The substance.
Today of like the future. For instance, the economy's good. Yes, it's picking up slightly for everybody. There's no way around that. But you all pretending like a business cycle doesn't spin anymore. Like the downturn will come. And if you're looking at the basics right now, when the downturn comes, when it comes in the future, we'll blame those at that moment. We won't even look at the seeds that we've sown today. And that's what I'm trying to say.
What did Kevin Orr say when you talked to him? That he pressed the reset button. And of course, he's not going to point the finger at anybody, but we're still doing the same thing that got us into this position in the first place.
Yeah.
We are. And so you, Charlie, just said what we've been talking about. It's beyond perception. The city can be pretty, but how many pretty people do you know that have terrible personalities and have no substance to them? That's what we have. And it's only in key places. So it's only like a pretty face and the body is rotten.
Look, I'd be satisfied to some degree if I knew this was maintainable. If this was the new ground level. This is supposed to be our peak. If you look at this and say this is our comeback, but these silly homicide statistics, silly. When the chief of police, I'm sorry, he's got to make it look good because he's instructed to. You didn't solve 52% of the murders. You say that every year. We catch you at it every year. How come I know a 19-year-old whose killer, allegedly, is caught on Project Greenlight, and yet he's still roaming around? Like, that's personal.
Yeah.
It's never 52.
But Charlie, take it another level up.
52 is the average in America.
Take it another.
And that includes Pasadena.
Take it another level up.
Tell the truth.
We have been long talking about education and crime. Those are the two things that will continue to hold the city back.
Yeah.
Now, I give due credit to Dr. Vitti. I think he's doing a great job given what he's been inherited. I think Dr. Curtis Ivory is doing an amazing
you
job.
Have to, everybody doesn't know who you're talking about.
Well,
Vitti's the head of the Detroit.
Vitti is the superintendent of the Detroit Public School Community District. Dr. Curtis Ivory is chancellor of Wayne County Community College District. They're building a new facility. I mean, they're doing things that are making a difference. But why hasn't there been an investment, not just in law enforcement, but in those contributing factors that lead to crime? Like,
well, you like your pal, the chief, the narrative. He's saying we are. You're saying we're not.
I'm saying the city is not. The police department can only do
again,
so much, Charlie.
the chief is the deputy mayor. One more time,
that's a ceremonial
reasoning,
position.
People, my reasoning is when we tell the truth, the cops get the wages, the benefits, and the equipment they need. And when you pay for good police, you get good police.
Right.
Professional police.
But why hasn't there been an allocation?
In them.
There has not been that's what I'm saying.
Well, and
that comes from the city.
But I think you have a valid point, though. There needs to be an investment in education.
Okay.
And the things that make
that's
city
it.
livable.
That's it.
But we've talked about those two things. But what to Charlie's point, we haven't invested in our law enforcement, our police officers. They don't make what they should. They already don't pay into Social Security. They don't have the resources, which is why they're off the street New Year's Eve. I mean, look at those things.
We talk about Capital City, but let's just look around the state. Everybody's looking for cops. Everybody's trying to hire, right? They don't get paid as well as they should, in my opinion, right? They're getting shit on. You're going to show up on the 5 o'clock news. It's heavy out there. It's not going to get better. I don't know what we're asking the government to do about families. There's only a couple things the government can do. Try to keep nasty people off the streets that hurt people, right, and provide a wholesome experience for education for a kid. And I don't know if we need another grand program. No. They never seem to work.
We don't.
I'm not from what you call a nuclear family. Ours was crazy. You just hopefully it's in you, right? Somebody loves you, and that school you went to lifted your boat.
It's true.
Like you should be a little bit smarter. You should know how to read a little bit by the time you're done with it.
That's true.
And we're not having it.
No, and that's
I'm not buying it. Sorry, I'm going to keep doing it. And I actually write them pretty good.
That's what the lady in Trader Joe's said. Your name, this lady mentioned to me, she said, hey, Charlie LeDuff wrote a really nice piece in Deadline Detroit. I think it was about the crime numbers. And it was crazy because it was like a domino effect. So the lady in front of me heard the cashier mention your name, and then the people behind me heard. And so then we had this huge conversation about Charlie LeDuff. So
right.
They do pay attention, Charlie, and people do appreciate that.
Okay, so thanks for listening. Here's the news. Crime is up. Serious violent crime is up. And in any other city, the last 6 months we had cops being shot, killers walking around, narcotic squad stealing stuff, serial killers who are, then weren't, then are, then weren't, then are. I've worked in L.A., Chicago, New York. I've never seen such a thing. Anyway, having said that, we got to get to Johnny C. But before that, let me tell you about American Coney Island. Because when you say American Coney Island, you say Detroit. American Coney Island, the city's oldest family-run restaurant and the birthplace of the famous Coney dog, chili, mustard, and Vidalia onions. Downtown at the corner of Lafayette and Michigan Avenue. Can't miss it. It's the red, white, and blue building that's shaped like a slice of pie. And they've got that, too. Fresh pie daily. Seriously.
And the best Conies around.
It's perfect for the NFL playoffs. Send your friends a Coney kit anywhere in the country. A dozen dogs with all the fixings right to their door for game time party. Go to AmericanConeyIsland.com or call downtown. They cater tailgates. They cater business lunches.
They'll cater your tailgate?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you have a big Super Bowl party, they'll cater it.
A cater.
They cater Michigan football.
That's my kind of tailgate.
That is.
Always delicious, always open, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. American Coney Island. All right.
They're delicious.
Shout out to Grace.
Hey, Johnny C., you on the line, bro?
I am. I'm looking for one of those Coney dogs as we speak.
Hey, you know what, man?
I like his voice.
I'm sending you one. So when you like his voice?
Yes, I do. Say something.
Say that's Karen Dumas, Johnny.
Hello, Karen. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic.
I'm going to just talk to him, Charlie.
Oh, yeah, go on. Okay, so, Johnny, I mean this in the most respectful way to my colleague, Karen. Very beautiful woman, very elegant. Let's say you're at Rayo's, okay, up there, East Harlem, where you're from. She's at the bar having a drink because it's very exclusive. The thing about Rayo's is there's no table available till next July. That's what they say about it. So let's say Karen's there. She's dressed in Burberry. It's Christmas season. Snow's gently falling. This is a movie you're in, Johnny. And you walk in, okay? You walk in, you see her there. Action. Go ahead, action. I can't write your lines for you. Yeah.
I walked out. Yeah. Oh, all right.
So go ahead.
Well, I go sit at my table, and poor Karen has never eaten there before. We take Karen.
No, time out. Cut.
Yeah.
Cut. Okay. Work with me here. This is improv. You're actually talking to Karen. You
I'm
can't
not a
see
good
Karen.
improv guy, Charlie. Come on.
Come on now. You can't see
He
Karen.
hasn't seen me. He's not going to do
Give
that.
her, I'm just not.
I want to make sure it's okay. I could be
Would you let me do the Bronx Tale here? Okay. So you walk in. And there she is. You see her. Action.
You just said I didn't see her.
Okay. Now you see her. Okay. And action.
I still go to my table and eat dinner first
Okay. Why?
because that's what I went there for, to eat.
Probably hungry.
Fucking,
Yeah.
That's
And
a
if-
guy's
and if-
guy.
And if she's been at the bar the whole time and hasn't sat down to eat, we'd ask her to come sit down and eat with us because she probably didn't go there to eat. She's never eaten there before.
So would you send her a message? Come join me?
Of course.
Really? Would you go up
Yeah.
and ask her? Or would you have the maitre d' do it like you're a big shot?
Oh, I'd be a big shot and send a maitre d'.
Well played. Well played.
But I'd miss his voice. That would be the key.
Okay, so she comes over, right?
By the way, there's only 10 tables. It's like you could just stick your hand up and she would see. She'd be able to see you.
Okay, so she comes over. I'm assuming the maitre d' brings her drink for her because Karen's like that.
And I don't drink.
And she doesn't drink, but it's a Perrier.
Okay.
Okay, with a slice of lemon.
That's cool.
Okay, and she's there. What do you do, Johnny?
You just have her sit down and order.
What do you say to her? Hey, sit down and order.
Oh, the maitre d' will tell her, you've never been here before. What do you want to eat? Da-da-da-da-da. And go on with a little speech. And she would come and sit and eat with us.
Okay, so when is it you actually say something to her?
Oh, I don't know, somewhere during that conversation, what's good and what's bad to eat. When the maitre d' says, do you like shrimp? And I said, don't eat the shrimp, eat this, it's much better.
You like that? That's right. Come on, a guy taking charge, Karen?
I don't know. Not like that. I'd like, I mean, there has to be some kind of conversation. Like, first of all, somebody can't just say, hey, come on over and join us. But now, given there are only 10 tables, perhaps, maybe there's an opportunity.
You wouldn't be at that bar.
Right,
in
that's
that
for sure.
restaurant
Right.
If you weren't looking to somehow sit down and eat.
Okay, so, and maybe this is the thing, you're in another city, you're looking to connect with people, and that's how folks do. So we'd sit down. I thank you for inviting me to the table and start conversation, find out about who you are.
You'd say, what's good here? And he'd go, don't get this shrimp. It's no good. Get this.
Okay, then I'd order something else. I just
Capoletti,
I just ask him to talk because I like his voice.
I recommend
Say
the
anything.
lamb chops. Is that what they got there, John? I can't remember.
Lamb chop. Yeah, they did have lamb chop.
They did. Well, anyway, this is like a movie scene out of like American Gangster, which Johnny was in. And Johnny was in, what else, Johnny? Born Ultimatum, Sopranos,
Yeah.
Departed,
Mm-hmm.
The Irishman.
Yeah, I don't get to eat in any of those. I only get killed.
Yeah. How come you're always dying in Scorsese pictures?
He likes to kill me, Marty.
He would make a good dinner date.
Does he ask for you?
Yes,
So he likes you in his pictures because you die the right way.
I guess so, yeah.
So, like, what was The Irishman? That's a real big deal. Real, it's going to get nominated. What role did you have in it?
A guy named Three Fingers.
Yeah.
And Three Fingers gets killed once again.
So he was a real life guy. What was his name? Three Fingers.
Oh, God, I don't even remember. Tony something. I don't remember.
Coletti, something like that, right? He was
Yeah.
a Jersey UAW guy fighting for the control of it with Tony Pro.
Yeah, fighting for the teams to control, yeah.
So I'm watching it. I'm rewatching it because you my friend, are in it. And
Oh, so you like to watch me die, too. You watch it over and over again, Charlie?
I did, actually. We got a picture of you up on Facebook Live here. That's you on the left there.
About to get whacked.
About to get choked out. How many takes did it take for you to die?
I believe we did that like four or five takes. We did it one day driving the live scene and then another day on stage.
So how's that work? Like the stuff in the back is what they're putting as a backdrop to you being in the car, which is on stage, right?
We did it in upstate New York. We did the actual scene with the camera outside the car, driving by, and actually doing the whole thing. And then we did it on stage with green screens around us, and then he plugged in everything that's in the windows.
Right.
And the camera's right on the hood looking at us.
Fuck.
That's the shot we're looking at right now.
Man, okay, so, bro.
Yeah.
Before because I wanted to be a stuntman. I started the show off with the fall
Not
down.
too late, Charles. You can have my job.
Seriously, bro. I was gonna.
You could die in the next movie.
Can you get me in?
Of course.
Can you?
Yes.
Bro, because when I left college, man, I hitched to L.A. and our whole tip was me and a couple guys on a stunt squad. Okay, it was football cheerleaders. Fine. we were going to go out there and become stuntmen, and they pushed out, became rich on Wall Street, and I'm stuck in a fucking basement,
Lower
level, with no way to even impress Karen. I couldn't even sit at the bar at Rayo's anymore.
Well, I can use your rails, and I could also put you in the movie Getting Killed, but I think you're better off going to the bankers and becoming a banker, driving up in a big yacht. I think Karen would rather be there.
Yeah, but I never wanted to do that, dude. We'd known each other a while, money's cool, but it still doesn't even buy a good experience, I don't think. That comes from within.
Nah, of course not.
Like fake-ass Hollywood, which, did you see the Ricky Gervais shit?
I didn't watch it the day of, but I did go on YouTube and watch his speech, which was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, hold on. Now, let me play this for, our listeners and viewers. In case they didn't, they're the only people on earth that didn't. This is Ricky Gervais giving his monologue at the 2020 Golden Globes at the Beverly Hilton? Is that right?
It was something like
I've
that.
been to these things. Anyway, this is the end of his speech here. Go ahead, Bob, play that.
If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off, okay? So...
All right, that's a hell of an edit, Bob.
Yeah.
We found the uncensored bit, and we cut it in. Yeah, so you thought that was great?
Yes.
Why? You're a Hollywood guy. What are you talking about?
The reality of it and the truth of it. No, I don't even watch the shows anymore because I don't want to see anybody's political opinion. There was a time when you watch those shows, like when Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr., those guys had fun. These shows are not fun anymore. Everybody's miserable. You look at the audience. They all have fucking miserable faces on. Nobody wants to be there.
So why are they? I mean, it's the height of everything. I'll say
money. Because it creates money. That's why.
Because it's the machine.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it also, too, that everybody wants to be politically correct? So they want to try to make sure that, they say or do something that's going to either solidify or, enhance their support system, their fan base. I mean, and people end up dancing all over the place because you've got people that feel different ways. But isn't it about just constant validation?
Yes.
Well said.
I'm just letting that hang. It's fucking deep, Johnny. Jesus. See, it's a man of few words.
Hey, you know,
Okay,
you say
look,
the right
watch
ones.
this. This is me. I'm Johnny Cenatiempo. I'm accepting World's Greatest Stuntman Lifetime Achievement, Academy Awards. Go ahead, Bob, give me some applause. We're going to see how long that takes.
Applause.
Yeah, just do this, Bob. Yeah. They give me the award. I say, I'm you now. Okay, I say, thank yous. Thank yous very much. And I fuck the fuck off.
Right. I probably wouldn't even go.
You wouldn't?
No. Look, at my age, what good is it going to do me?
I mean, it's a night, life's recognition.
But you're rooted in it for the right way. If he's doing it because it's something he loves and that he enjoys, then it's not about the opinions of everybody else.
No.
Charlie,
That's it.
I'm sorry. I'd much rather go with me, you, and about 4 other people at Rail and eat and drink and have fun than go to one of those events.
Yeah, man. I've been to I've been to one, and they're not fun.
And the Golden Globes was vegan this year, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was.
You know what I would have done as a reporter? As a reporter now, not because here's the thing. Here, cut that down a little bit. The reporters got bent out of shape about Ricky Gervais saying, what's wrong with using your position and your stature to make the world a better place? Fair enough.
Well, whose opinion is it that's making it a better place?
The reporter, the writer, the TV critic, I guess. But here's what I would have done, dude. I would have gone out back to the dumpster because I know where they're at, right? And seen how much fucking vegan food they threw away. And I tell you what, I'd actually, and I'd be snacking because that's the kind of videos I make. I'd set myself a candlelight dinner in the fucking dumpster and eat the shit.
Yeah.
Because Ricky Gervais is right. Here's the deal. It's January. We're stuck out here where it's cold. You're wearing low-cut chiffon stuff and expensive tuxedos with no socks. How daring are you, right? To lecture me about how I'm supposed to see the world. I don't want to hear it. He's right. You don't know any fucking thing about us. We like your movies for escape. Leave it at that.
That's it. Yeah, you're right.
That's it.
Everybody wants to be more.
And Johnny?
I agree. I'm not completely. I agree.
Well, you live in Manhattan. What would you know about the real world?
Oh, well, I live in Manhattan now, which is not the real world. But there was a time when Manhattan was the real world.
What has happened?
Yeah, it lost its sexuality. All that's here is banks and Dwayne Reed and CVS.
Dwayne Reed.
Yeah, and when you hold the door open for somebody, they get pissed off at you.
Yeah. You hold the door open, they get angry. They don't say thank you, or they're pissed off because you held the door open for them and they have some other agenda.
So what's happened? Where'd everybody go? Because like Manhattan used to be lots of immigrants. Used to have a lot of crime. It had old people. It had the artists. The Ramones were living downtown. Richard Hell, all that stuff. What happened to them?
The old building I used to live in, a lot of people moved to Philly. I don't know where everybody else went. Supposedly they were going to Detroit. I don't know what happened there.
They figured out too much crime.
They didn't make
And
it.
for a minute, got their ass kicked and creeped on back to New York.
Where it was safe.
So Philly's the spot?
Yeah, Philly's a good spot. A lot of people have been moving to Philly. It's a short commute back if you have to work here. And, there's still stuff. There's still mom and pop places. There's still things happening. You can still turn a corner and see something that might be a little dangerous.
Yeah, it's gritty. Philly's really gritty, man.
Yeah.
It's actually like Detroit, was at its peak. It's gritty. It's crowded. It's all kinds of people. You get an attitude. It's tough, but, it's just a fucking vibe going on.
Yeah.
I love this
You
guy.
can go one down block, and it's, very wealthy. You got great restaurants. You turn the corner, and there's somebody looking to rob you. Just leaving that restaurant.
Sounds great.
I was going to say, sounds like fun.
Well, how are you going to get a workout?
Hey, John, what does Cenatiempo mean? Does that mean 100 times?
There's several definitions. One was 100 times. One was dinner time. and somebody else said it's there is time.
It's what time?
There is time. Like there's plenty of time, there is time.
Oh. So like in Italian, cena means dinner.
Yeah.
And cento means 100.
No tiempo. Well, yeah.
No,
But
cento,
Spanish is time.
cento. Escúchame. Cento. Cento means 100.
But it's Cenatiempo.
Right. I'm just dividing it up. So tiempo in Spanish means time
Right.
or weather.
Oh.
Okay, look, it's 100. It's Johnny 100 times. I'm going to settle on that.
Okay, settled.
All right, man. Hey, all right, dude, listen, I got my buddy from Morningside Heights, the Marine major. We're doing an all-Manhattan show today. So
Awesome. Tell him thank you for his service.
I will do that. And before I let you go, let's just get this straight. You can get me in the picture?
Absolutely. Well, right now I can get you on a TV show. I can't get you in a movie right now.
What's it pay?
Anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 a day.
Fuck. Look, Johnny's the guy. Well, you got over like what, about 200 credits, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny's the guy. So okay, I'm gonna take you up on that, bro. Fucking sweet.
Come on in next week.
Do I have to come to New York?
You have your choice. You could be on the FBI's Most Wanted show, or you could be on For Life, a show about a person that was wrongly accused in prison and became a lawyer and got himself free.
That's you, Charlie.
Okay, but I won't do anal rape scenes.
Charlie, that's exactly what I wanted. Come on.
There goes your career, Charlie.
Yeah, right. Oh, God. That was the line in the sand.
All right, I'll do it. I'm just trying to negotiate. But I'll do anything to get in the movies. And remember, eat vegan.
Yeah.
Stop the war.
All right, gang. You guys have a great day.
All right, man.
Hey,
thanks,
thanks,
Johnny.
Johnny.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Charlie. I appreciate it.
I
Bye-bye,
love you,
Jared.
brother. I will call you on that.
Anytime.
Dude, we're going to do a show next week. I go to New York.
Well, what about us?
Fuck you guys.
What
This is Hollywood. Fuck you guys. I'm for myself.
Nice.
What the heck?
Come to the Stuntman Awards.
Where's my gun?
Hey, Bob, remember when we were doing the death of porn in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
And I tried out for the porno?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
In
It
my
was the
underpants.
one of a handful of times that you were in your underwear on
I
TV.
love being
Outside of the time that he was in this robe with the lady in her tub. But let
Oh,
me
yeah.
ask,
That
that
was
was
the
classic.
best.
I will never forget that. But Charlie, let me ask you this just quickly before we go to our next guest. You've done so many things. You talked about hitchhiking to L.A. What haven't you done that you still want to do?
Ooh,
Good question.
it's fucking good. I have not been to South America.
Okay.
I would like, one of my dreams, I always have these recurring, okay, what am I going to do next? What can I do for adventure in this life? One of them was, I was going to trick out a Ford Econoline van, trick it out, heavy suspension, right? So you could live in it. And I was going to take my family and circumnavigate the globe and take my daughter to the best school I know, which is planet Earth.
Yeah, that's true.
But it got really heavy. And she's at an age now I'm not going to do it to her. She's doing well, praise be to God. Another one was I wanted to take a motorcycle across the world. Just like
That's cool.
That'd be fun.
the Gobi Desert, Mongolia, just the whole globe. Wanted to do that.
That's pretty cool. But because it's crazy when you watch or listen to the things that you've done, the people you've encountered, the conversations you've had. Everybody from following the Rouge River here to hiking out across, with the chief, the head honcho for the clan, and the Native American reservations. You've done some stuff. I don't think people really know more than a thumbnail of what you've done. And when you think about a life, from my perspective, that seems pretty exciting, adventurous and without boundaries or borders. I can't help but wonder, what would you like to do next?
Maybe, see, one thing next is, I'd like to, I'm going to reapply, maybe, to become a Detroit police officer. I want to do that. I want to contribute. I did it once, and before they even processed it, they threw it away because
That's discriminatory.
Right.
And I speak Spanish, and I don't have a felony record. and I'm a good citizen, and I want to do it, but it's political.
And you fell on the stairs pretty well, so.
Thank you.
You know, you seem to be pretty agile. That's
Thank
good.
you. You know the physical requirements for, like.
Do they have an age requirement?
No. Equal opportunity.
Okay.
Right? Like they'd be sued for ageism.
Right.
All right, well, let's all apply. Let's do this. Let's see what happens.
They're having trouble holding on to cops. I don't know why they
I'm not doing street stuff, though. That's out.
All right, let me take care of some business because I want to get Major Dan McSweeney on because I just texted him, dude, come on, and I have no idea where this is going. But he couldn't beat Johnny C for the one-word answers.
No.
Yeah. But you know what? Happy New Year from our friends at Hall Financial. They have a couple questioners for you, our listeners. Are you paying more than 4% on your mortgage? Do you have a lingering high interest rate credit card debt? Do you? Most do.
Yeah.
You may or may not know that right now rates are within fractions of a percentage point of their lows over this whole past decade. Fractions of just a decimal point. They're low, historically low. A smart idea would be to call the company with over 1,000 five-star reviews that has recently been averaging 10 days from start to finish for listeners who have applied for a refinance of their mortgage. And that's Hall Financial. 10 days to refi.
Not bad.
You need to get the cash. You need to get something done. 10 days. It's a simple process, and it's no secret that saving money is smart. You can get started by calling 248-308-5000 or going to davidhallmortgage.com. That's 248-308-5000. David Hall Mortgage. Equal housing lender, number 1467435. And last but certainly not least is Luke Nowacki, because Luke wants to remind you that you're probably not a big-time city official who's traveling with your entourage on the city's dime.
You rewrote this.
But maybe you're his contributor who in turn gets hooked up with the big government contracts. But if you're not among those elite who can make your pals' pockets fat off the taxpayers' back, and if you actually work for a living, work capitalized.
Imagine that.
W-O-R-K, work.
Work for your money, huh?
You're going to have to provide for your own retirement and theirs. If you have questions whether you're on the right track, call financial specialist Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748. Folks, I put my own household finances in his hands. That's all I can tell you. I'll go back to the copy. Grow your assets from annuities to individual retirement accounts to college savings plans to good old stocks and bonds. And yes, cash, the king of them all.
Cash is king.
Make that call now. Your politicians, not to mention your children and the other people who are not planning, are depending on you. Luke Nowacki, 248-663-4748. Securities and investment advisory service offered by the Royal Licenses, a member of FINRIS, SBC, Royal Licenses, separately owned and entities. I don't market any products or services referenced here or the Independent Licenses, Inc.
Hey, get you a good fixed rate annuity.
That's
sit
it.
back and just let it work.
That's it.
No matter how much you have. That's something I told somebody. I said, I want to remind everybody, I don't care if you're working, making minimum wage, or if you're making seven figures. Do what you have to do to protect your money. I mean, seriously. And I think people that don't make a lot tend to trivialize it. Ask Luke how to take what you have and make it work for you and your family.
Everybody should be doing it.
Yep.
Hey, McSweeney.
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Hey, dude, listen, when you retire from the Marine Corps, do you get a pension?
Well, I didn't do 20 years, so I didn't retire. I finished up my time in the reserves. It was a total of 11 years. I have a disability payment each month, but I don't have a retirement.
So it's not enough to retire on. I mean, you got to work.
Correct.
So call Luke Nowacki, okay, if you need some financial. I know you're in Manhattan, but Luke Nowacki, all right? Write this down, 248-663-4748. That's my guy. Never just assume tomorrow's going to be good, Dan.
I never do, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, let me introduce you to the folks. Dan McSweeney, a kid from New York's Morningside Heights neighborhood, has a master's degree from Fordham University in business and Columbia University in international affairs. He's the former United States Marine Corps Major of the 24th Marine Expeditionary Union, the public affairs officer, a guy that I shared time with on the battlefield, a man I immensely respect just as a man. We're not saying this guy is the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Most recently, Mac completed a 3-year stint as the president of the War Veterans Council. So, brother, I called you just the week in the Middle East. General Qasem Soleimani is assassinated by the president. Along with him is Abu Muhandis, the deputy chief of basically the umbrella group of militias in Iraq, many of which are supported by Iran. They're flying from Damascus, Syria, not on the flight manifest, into Baghdad, Iraq, not on the flight manifest, meaning there's a nexus here between the Shia government, control government in Iraq, Assad in Syria, and the Iranians. What did you make of that strike? You as a guy who walked into that bubbling pile of piss.
Well, that's a colorful way of putting it. What do I think of it?
Yeah.
I've got some mixed feelings. So, on the one hand, the move is towards deterrence, or so we're told. So there's some logic there. My issue with it, however, is it doesn't appear to have been coordinated well using existing foreign policy infrastructure. So that's an internal issue. And I think it caught a lot of our allies off guard. It doesn't seem to me that those two things are a net gain in national security. So clearly, there are some concerns with it. I can't claim to be an expert on what's going on in the region at this point. I was there last in 2007. Mm-hmm. But we're all aware of the general trends, and we all are aware that this is an ongoing issue that needs to be looked at strategically, operationally, and tactically. And the more coordination that exists and the more awareness that exists, the better off we are. I think that the operation was lacking in that coordination.
In the political end of things. But what do you think militarily? Because, look, I mean, this guy's been killing American troops for decades now.
Of course. I mean, was it justified? Yes.
I think so,
too. It was justified in the end of being rid of this leader of a lot of proxy efforts by Iran. That was something that I think most people would understand is an objective. But how do you achieve that objective? That's, I think, the major concern. As I said, there's got to be, from my point of view, and I think the general public would agree, that there's got to be more internal coordination, and there's got to be a greater level of understanding of what the strategy is. What are the end results that we're trying to achieve? So you could debate this forever as far as whether or not it was worth it to do it. But the lack of awareness, the lack of our understanding of how we're approaching this over the long term is a very clear deficiency in how the administration is handling these things.
Yeah, I think you from the vote this past week in the House, right, about trying to limit Trump's ability to conduct hostilities in the region. Do you think the House, basically the Democrats in the House, is pretty split again? Is this because it was Trump, or is it because they really feel there's an issue with their co-equal status as a branch of government? Like,
I think it's both.
Huh.
I think it's both, right? So Trump has certainly not made any significant strides in unifying the country, either politically or socially or culturally, for that matter. And so the fact that it is Trump who's got this track record of appearing to be somewhat reckless or somewhat impulsive, combined with the fact that Congress probably feels or definitely feels shortchanged on acting as a co-equal branch of government. So it's both of those things.
So what would you do at this point? I mean, in terms of moving forward, understanding, not understanding, or communicating what is the ultimate goal, what would your recommendations be if the president, Congress, if they said, hey, what do we do from here?
Well, I think given all of the difficulties we're facing politically right now, there's not much that can be done except to continue to bring home the point that Congress needs to be informed of these things. Not in every case. Clearly, they're highly sensitive issues. But, for example, the Gang of Eight should absolutely be informed because they represent the people, right? And the people are the ultimate stakeholders in foreign policy decisions. We fund these operations, and we should be expected to understand how it's being implemented. Now, of course, realistically, we're not going to know all the details, but there's got to be a certain level of general understanding of the trends and the objectives that we are seeking to achieve. And I think that does not exist. I think that's problematic. I think that makes people nervous, whether they're in or outside of government. And it makes our allies question how we're approaching a very delicate and a very potentially explosive region.
What does this do for the impeachment process and his potential reelection, or for the campaign in general coming up?
Let me answer that, Dan, so you know where I'm at with this, and then we'll see. Now we just talk like his brothers
and sisters.
I mean, he and I, and then
my
sister come in, and then we got Libtard Bob over here. Bob, Dan actually thinks a lot like you do, by the way. He's an open-minded, tough guy who sees the world as he sees it.
Yeah.
And he sticks by it. But, Dan, you hearing shit banning about like this is a war of mass what was that, war of mass deception or distraction, war of mass distraction, because they're sitting on the impeachment documents. How do you even take the criticism from Congress, the Democratic wing of Congress, at face value? Because it does have the look of yet just another political posture. Bring the impeachment papers. The man is a national security problem. That's what they said. We got to take him out. All of a sudden, he's doing preemptive strikes on military leaders, right, in foreign countries. And we're still not having the impeachment papers move. Do you think the more they try to bottle this guy in, the more that they bottle themselves in, and it becomes political, and we out here in the real world become deaf to it?
I think that does happen. It's not like you've got Congress wanting to have greater understanding of these issues just for the sake of being able to apply political leverage. This is a constitutionally mandated responsibility of congressional oversight. There is a need for Congress to be involved and aware. And that's not happening now. This is a trend. So my view is that what occurred last week is just going to reinforce whatever position an individual or a group are in politically. So we have to continue to play this out. The cards have been dealt, and one hopes that there can be some type of meeting in the middle and some type of greater information sharing so that we can feel a little bit more, if not unified, then at least aware of what the administration's objectives are. I think clearly we have a general sense, right? Trump is a tough guy. He wants to be proactive. He wants to be aggressive. Yeah, we get it. We've known that for decades. But the way that he approaches it in this critical time, in this critical place, definitely calls for a greater level of exchange between Congress and the administration, and by extension, the American people.
Now,
a lot of people were caught off guard, as I said earlier, and that's not a good thing.
Pull up that list you had, Karen. I'm sorry, Dan, because, that's right. You're talking about a functioning government of all the people and all the, the political positions. Like we are supposed to be, one in the end. But if he's not even going to make his own party aware, much less the Democrats, the Gang of Eight, about what's going on, like who's giving him advice? Karen's got a list here of the open seats in the administration, in the national security sector. Go ahead, Karen.
So we are without a director of national intelligence, a deputy director of homeland security, secretary, deputy secretary, or head of customs and border patrol, or ICE, State Department undersecretary of arms control, assistant secretary for Europe, and a Navy secretary.
It's unbelievable.
That's a lot of voids.
A lot of heavy hitter voids.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Look, the government exists in its form for a reason. A lot of people could justifiably say that it's bloated and that it's not responsive to public will. That being said, you need as many smart, experienced people in government offering their views on complex issues if you're going to have a legitimate and ultimately accepted foreign policy, and that's not what's going on right now. It's like there's a segment or whatever you want to call it, a gang, so to speak, of people that are making these decisions, and without the proper coordination, if nothing else, it's minimizing the ability for us to have long-term positive impacts and therefore develop the kind of support that is supposedly part of the democratic process.
And then that piss storm that you and I walked into, first it was weapons of mass. That was a shit show from the beginning. False pretense. I'm sorry. I was there. I'd never supported going there. I do support you. You know what I mean? My family are service people. It's not about that. But we walked in, we broke it. We've broken it for 3 administrations. I made my list this morning in my underpants. Let's see if I'm right here. We have Shia attacks on American positions in Iraq. You know, stone throwing and rioting. The Sunnis in the military became ISIS, right? The Turks, who are a NATO ally, are running operations with the Russians. The Kurds were betrayed, our allies, and the Chaldeans, well, they live here in my community. So who is our ally there? What did we do?
Look, I hear you, man, and we're never going to resolve all these issues, right? That's just a pipe dream. These are conflicts that have existed for many, many decades, and there's no silver bullet. There's no panacea. You're always going to have people upset about one thing or another. That just reinforces the idea that we've got to coordinate closely internally and with our allies in conducting foreign policy, and it doesn't appear to me that that's very high on the priority list for this administration. And that puts us in danger.
Last question, then. Are the days dark in infinitum? Do you see us working our way out of this? Are there better days ahead?
Well, there have to be.
It's been 20 years, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Ultimately, I've got faith, and I'm sure you do too, because we've had a conversation about it, in the ability of the American people, of our society, our culture, to reckon with very complicated and difficult circumstances and ultimately decide on not the perfect solution, because the perfect solution does not exist, but the solution that brings as many people to the table and begins to hint at or hopefully achieve some level of consensus. Right now, that's not happening. American society is divided. We see it every day. And that's not the kind of leadership, that's not leadership at all, that we need from a president. President should be a unifier. This president, in my humble opinion, is a divider. And that's not the country that I'm happy living in. So we all have to face facts. And if there's a silver lining here, it's that we're more clearly aware of dynamics that have always been there, but that perhaps were obscured. So we need to continue to discuss these things, speak out when appropriate and in appropriate ways. And I think that that's just going to continue to grow because people, American citizens, need to have their voices heard. And it's not at all the fact that the majority of Americans, in my view, are behind these types of approaches, either to foreign policy or to domestic issues.
Okay, well, watch. Respect to you, my brother. Respect, Marine. I might not agree on all of it. Maybe I do. But it's a good conversation. It can be had. See that? Nice.
It's important. People need to continue to increase their involvement in civic affairs, or we just become a society of consumers, of people who are focused on entertainment, and that is not what's going to lead to a healthy republic. So I appreciate the fact that you're doing what you do.
Consumers and complainers. That's the thing, because people complain about things that they don't understand. When you said people need to be aware, they need to be engaged. They need to understand what's going on.
Yeah, this isn't 1984, Dan. You know, like Big Brother's watching you, and all. This is Brave New World. That's the book when, you know, they gave you all the sex you wanted, all the entertainment you wanted, all the drugs you wanted, right? You keep people enslaved by their own desires for empty, good feelings. That's where we're at. I think Huxley was better than Orwell in his estimation of what the future was going to look like.
Well, it's not a comforting thought. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for us to be concerned, not least of which is climate change, wealth disparity, racism, all of these things that divide us, that we need to be united in order to confront effectively. That's not the playbook right now, and that's a huge problem.
That's why everybody out there stop yelling at each other, right? I mean, we can look, I'm from the Great Lakes. I know very conservative people here that are concerned about our environment because we love our outdoors. That's a fair thing. It's not a liberal thing to be concerned about the lakes, right? Or like, I can't retire. I got to call Luke Nowacki to hold my hand because I don't know which way the fucking economy's going. That we all agree. Oh, and Dan's the guy that went and did the patriotic thing for everybody until everybody decided to just forget about it because they got bored with it.
But his perspective is not one we hear often enough.
That's why he's on.
And I mean, it's not. I mean, he gets it. I mean, he gets the things that may not impact him. He understands those things that have a collective impact. And that's what people don't understand. They look myopically. What is in front of me and how does it impact me and my family?
Right.
You know, not looking at the overall impact and the long-term effect. I would love to hear that perspective and that conversation from more people on different levels on a regular basis.
Well, then let's tell everybody who he is again, because if you want to talk to him on your shows, Karen, and on your roundtables.
Don't sound like a hater, Charlie.
This is retired Marine Corps Major Dan McSweeney. Man,
retired. Not retired.
Oh, he's not retired. Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I
sorry.
think-
Yeah,
You
that's
said
yeah.
you didn't.
Well, yes, it is a nomenclature thing. It's very important.
What's your Marine Corps?
I just mean once a Marine, always a Marine. So
Always
you're not
a
a
Marine,
former.
No.
There we go.
What are you?
I'm a Marine and a New Yorker.
Right on, man.
Right on.
I love them both. All right, brother, listen, I'm going to get your address and send you a Coney kit. You're going to love these.
I appreciate it, man. Good luck with all you're doing, and nice to speak to everybody over there.
All right, Happy New Year,
Thanks,
dude.
Dan.
Sir. Thank you for
Happy
your
New Year.
service. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, there you go.
You had two good guys on today, Charlie.
Hell yeah, that was New York all day long, girl.
Strong.
See, when everybody says, oh, the coasts, the coast, the bubbles, right? You kidding me?
But we started at real East Side, shooting
Yeah.
you, falling down the stairs. I like that. Let's do that
East
again.
Side.
Yeah.
Well, look, Johnny's from East Harlem.
Okay,
Right?
that works. Although, he didn't sound very receptive to, picking up dinner, but it's cool.
No, he's going to get you dinner, but he's going to play tough guy. He's got his New York way to do things.
Was that it?
Yeah, it's like this. Hey, why don't you sit down over here? Go sit down. Listen. Don't get the shrimp. It's no good here.
I pulled up the menu online, too, while I was sitting here.
What do they got?
I don't know. I didn't have my glasses on. I just pulled it up.
Okay, here. One time, Johnny knows guys, right? Johnny 100 times knows guys. You know what I mean? Those guys. He knows
Sure
guys.
he does.
Good.
So I went there. He and Johnny invited me to a St. Valentine's Day dinner.
Oh.
And there was the actor, I forget who he was, but he was in Goodfellas. He was the crew chief. You could look him up, big Hollywood guy. There was this couple of Russian chicks, escorts. There's a guy named, I wrote about him,
Escorts.
Tommy Noodles. His name was Todd. but
Tommy Noodles?
Yeah, he was like half Italian, half Irish. So he wasn't a made guy, but he was a connected guy, Friends of ours, friends of theirs, a friend of mine, whatever they call it. And this dude, these Russian girls, I speak a little Russian, they were calling him stupid, gloopy, right? And he's talking about his ex-wife, and she left him, and he went to chase her in Brazil, and he caught a rare tropical disease, which started eating at his heart, and he had a heart transplant. He did, and that was failing. What a great Valentine's Day story.
I guess.
So I write this story. Johnny got me at the table. I'm like, shit, I need a Valentine's story. This is a great one. I write it about the Russian girls calling him stupid and all this. This guy called me for a week at the New York Times. You motherfucker. I want a refraction. He meant
refraction.
He meant retraction. You motherfucker. He's calling the boss, man. This guy's sweating me. And then finally, he calls like the 5th, 6th day. You motherfucker. I know where you fucking live. I'm going to find your fucking wife. And then I lost it. Then I didn't know what to do. Right? Because the thing was accurate. But I was like, yeah, fuck you, Todd. You meet me at 43rd and fucking Broadway and we'll settle it. And he goes, like, take it easy. Take it easy.
Oh, tough guy.
All of a sudden, it's take it easy.
That's how bullies are.
He's not going to whack me because I made fun of him. And, you're not going to. But it's like, just come on, man. Just fuck off now. And it's the only thing left of you anyway.
Right.
So a couple months later, the heart gives out. He fucking dies. And like 2 people went to his wake.
Were you one?
I was nearby. Okay. I wasn't sure what to do. I was nearby. Johnny was there.
Yeah.
Johnny gave me the brief. Wow. You know what I mean? You don't go to a guy's wake that fucking hates you. You just...
See, Charlie, right. That's what you need to write next. I want to hear all those stories, just snippets of those encounters that you had.
That's in my first book, Working Other Sins, Life in New York.
Okay, I didn't have that one.
Yeah, it's called...
3 of your books on my shelf.
The headline is like A Real Valentine Story, Take Out Your Handkerchief or something like that.
Okay, where do I get that?
Any online, any bookstores.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just tweeted a picture of your books in Barnes & Noble. I was like, damn, I didn't know Charlie had all these titles. He only told me about 2. 3, maybe.
Oh, let me give him a plug to Michael Matthews, Mick, the guy that wrote American Ruin, about being on the streets with the cops. He's in town.
Oh.
We had a beer last night. Police Appreciation Day in Detroit. And I appreciate y'all. Really do. Went out for a beer. It's a great book.
Should have talked to him, too.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. I told him we were out mics. So anyway, it's getting long. Great to see you guys.
Great to see you.
See you next week. And like Major Sweeney said, try to respect one another.
That's it.
Love's better, but respect goes a long way.
Thank you.